Hi, welcome to the basement. This is Buster, my co-host as always, and this is Master Sergeant Matthew Williams. He received the Medal of Honor from President Trump. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, no, so yeah, Master Sergeant Matt Williams, received the Medal of Honor from President Trump, October 30th of this year. Currently served in 31st Forces Group down in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, as a team sergeant, and that's about it.
Did you say what is it, Fort Bragg?
Yeah, Fort Bragg, that's right.
I was actually down there recently. I went to Pinehurst to play golf, and I met some people
Okay.
that had worked at Fort Bragg. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, we live right outside of Pinehurst. Actually,
Oh, really? That's
yeah,
a, that's a
yeah,
beautiful area down there. It's amazing.
yeah. No, it's very nice. I mean, it's especially if you're into golf. It's got. I mean, I don't even know how many golf courses they have around there, but it's a ton.
It is. Um, First off, what was it like, receiving the Medal of Honor from, I mean, the President of the United States? What was that like?
I mean, it's surreal, you know. I actually had the opportunity to kind of see a ceremony in person a little over a year ago when my teammate Ron Scher received his medal on early October 2018. So I kind of got to see what it was like and take it all in, and that kind of, so I was sort of prepared, but standing on the stage or meeting the president beforehand actually, and then walking out with him, standing on stage, and then him putting a medal around your neck, and is an extremely surreal and humbling experience. It's a great honor, obviously, and, but it's you can't really be prepared for it. I don't think.
I, I would imagine you had some nerves at that point. That was probably an amazing experience. I would. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
did you get to talk to the president beforehand at all or afterwards?
We got to meet him a little bit. So, my family, my immediate family, my mom, dad, brother, sister, and then my wife, Kate, got to kind of hang out before the ceremony, and he came in, kind of chatted with us for a minute, took some photos, and then signed my official citation and certificate. And then family went and had their seat, and so President Trump and I had another, 2-3 minutes before we actually walked out together, just kind of getting prepared to go out, and he's preparing for his remarks and things like that.
Hmm. That's pretty awesome. We also have a few friends that are joining the military after this year because we're seniors in high
Okay.
school. Um,
Sure.
so would you like to talk about when you joined and maybe some why you wanted to join the military?
Yeah, so I was actually in college at Angelo State University out in the middle of nowhere in West Texas when 9/11 happened. So I was pursuing a degree in criminal justice. I'd always planned on doing law enforcement at the federal level of some sort. Like the FBI was kind of my goal. Then, like I said, 9/11 happened, and we became a country at war, which is something we weren't used to for our generation. And that kind of changed my focus, and I saw an opportunity to kind of serve in a different capacity. We were in Afghanistan and Iraq both at that time, and I saw it was important to kind of serve my country and do my part. So I did a bunch of research and looked around, kind of figured out what the best thing to do was, and I found the HMSA program, which is basically you can sign up to join special forces right out of the gate. So you go to basic training, airborne training, and then you basically go to Fort Bragg and go to selection. And if you make it, great, and you move on. If not, then you just go do whatever in the Army. So I decided I was going to do that, in 2005 when I finished college, and that was it. Like I was like, I'm not joining the Army to go do anything. Like I want to go SF. I want to go with the best of the best and train with the best of the best. And that's also kind of how I told my parents. You know, I told my mom, if I'm going to join the military, this is what I want to do. So I'm going to do it this way with the best highly trained unit in the Army. And that was kind of I never looked back from there. I wasn't. I didn't kind of game it. I wasn't looking for options or backup plans or anything like that. I was like, this is just what I'm going to do. Wow. So that's what happened.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about the most defining moments of your military career so far?
Yeah, I mean, the first, getting selected is a huge one. You go to selection, you spend your time out there and go through all the stuff they want you to go through. It's a brutal couple weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it is, and then them calling off your name or your number that you've been selected. That was a huge moment. And then joining your first ODA, once you graduate the Queen course, joining your first ODA is another big one that you always kind of remember. You remember your first team sergeant and your first team, and that just happened to be the team that I deployed with the first time, and then was awarded the medal was for that trip. So that's that trip and that time frame kind of always is stuck in my head. And then the next one is kind of when I got to be a team sergeant, which I am now, and have the opportunity to have my own team and train my own guys and prepare them for combat and deployments and all that kind of stuff.
What is that like?
Being a team sergeant?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of what every Special Forces NCO, kind of strives to be, is kind of the pinnacle of our job. So, you join your team, you have your specialty. So I was a weapons sergeant originally. You kind of move up to there, and then everybody wants, you kind of want to make the team sergeant deal, and so it's awesome. It's the greatest job that I've ever had. I've got 11 other guys on my team, and I'm responsible for training them and mentoring them and guiding them on along in their career and helping them out, just kind of advance and grow and learn the ropes, and then, like I said, prepare to deploy and train for combat. And it's it's a awesome responsibility, but it's also an awesome job to have.
Yeah, that's really something.
It is. Yeah. Just to all our viewers at home, this guy he's a true hero. He's an American hero, and we're very blessed to have him on the show today. Just want to point that out. Receiving the Medal of Honor is not an everyday type thing. That is it's the pinnacle. So it's pretty awesome.
I appreciate it. No, I mean, I appreciate you guys taking time and having a conversation. It's awesome to be on here.
Yeah, my mom told me that she knew you, and I was like, wow, that would be awesome if we could get him on the show. We recently, what about a month ago, we had our first military member on the show. We had our friend who is now in the Marines on the show, and he when did he enlist?
Well, he went off to boot camp in July.
In July.
Yeah. He's at MOS right now. He's off for Christmas, I suppose, but right after that he's back.
Yeah, right after boot camp, he came home and was telling us all the stuff he did and all the challenges and just he was like, it was pretty tough, but he got through it. And
yeah, I mean, it's anybody can do it as long as you just are willing to do it. You know what I mean? Just gotta suck it up.
It sounded like a lot of mental strength compared to physical.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Do you have any?
Yeah, I mean, it's challenging physically, of course. The same thing for going special forces route. It's challenging, but as long as you can meet the standards of the military for fitness wise, and everything else is just mental. It's just how much you're willing to put up with,
Do you have any advice for people that may have had your sort of mindset from when you joined?
I mean, yeah, just like I said, it's, and you guys pointed out too, like your buddy was saying, it's all mental. Everything really comes down to what you mentally are willing to handle. your mental mindset and mental toughness is something that will push your body to physical limitations that you didn't know you could achieve. And then once you do that, everything after that is easier, right? Like, oh, I know now I can do this. What else can I do? And just keep pushing and going further, and overcoming, situations that, you may not want to be in, but it doesn't really matter at that point. It's focus on, focus on where you need to go, what the solution is to whatever problem you're facing, and not focus on the negativity and the, what's causing this problem and why me kind of attitude. It's, always looking forward and forward thinking and problem solving is kind of the mindset that I like to kind of point out is the way to kind of overcome adversity, whether it be, a brutal firefight with an enemy, or if it's just a hard training event, or if it's, whatever you're doing in school. It's all the same, really. It's just having that mindset of forward thinking and focusing on solving problems and not dwelling on issues and all that other stuff.
And I'll go ahead and mention this. We talked about this before the show, that you were on Jimmy Fallon recently, with one of our own here in our hometown, Woody Williams, who won the Medal of Honor. He fought in World War II and in Iwo Jima, and and he won as well. But was that the first time you had met Mr. Williams?
Yeah, actually it was. So we met briefly before the show and had the opportunity to share the stage with him, which is, amazing because his story is incredible. And I think he's 96 at this point. Mm-hmm. He's the oldest living recipient, as far as I know. Started in World War II, like you mentioned. At Iwo Jima, one of the most famous battles. Everybody knows about it. Everybody's heard about it. And he was a young kid at the time, did some amazing things, and then has led an amazing, extraordinary life since then too. He's got his own foundation and does a bunch of stuff for, to help out, and he's literally like the most lively guy ever, and he's like 96 years old. It's crazy. He's literally just full of energy all the time.
He's turned into some, he's kind of like a celebrity around here. He's just like a normal guy. Sure. But he did the coin toss at Super Bowl. What was it? What was last year or the year before?
Yeah,
at a recent Super Bowl, I know.
50 or 49, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's in like commercials at home, and he's just a normal guy around here. But he's turned into some little celebrity, and it's kind of awesome. He's such a nice guy, and I've had the pleasure to talk to him before, but he's a good guy.
Yeah, no, he's an awesome, very awesome guy. Like I said, the stuff that he does and continues to do is incredible. It blows me away.
How was Jimmy Fallon?
It was cool. They took super good care of us. We had our own little green room area to hang out and stuff. Like myself, Woody Williams, and then David Bellavia were all on the opening of the show. We got to meet Jimmy for a few minutes beforehand for rehearsals, and he was super cool. Actually, very military oriented. I think his parents or his dad served, and he was it was for Veterans Day. It was why we were there, so the whole entire crowd was full of veterans. Awesome. And he was like gave a pretty moving, humbling speech about the military and how much he appreciates everything the military does. That was really cool to see from somebody in his position. Mm-hmm. And he's, watching the show in person was actually really cool. Because I honestly don't usually stay up late enough to watch the show on TV, to be honest with you. But it was actually, it's funny. He's a funny dude, and the interactions that he has with like the band and the guests, and then when they're on commercial break, all that stuff is pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Jimmy Fallon. I've always thought he was a funny guy.
Yeah, he is. He's good.
But I did watch the clip with you when he introduced you guys and gave that speech, and he did give a very humbling speech, and I appreciate it. I think it's awesome when people do things like that. But is there anything else you'd like to talk about on here that you may be into?
I mean, I don't know, not much. I mean, I like these days. It's pretty. I've got a 3-year-old, so it's running around with him and keeping up with him, and then like I said, team sergeant stuff. So work's busy, and then whenever I have a chance, I play some golf.
Awesome.
Yeah. Other than that, it's about it. It's rough when you get older.
Have you played the Legacy course down near Pinehurst?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Oh.
I played it a while. It's been a while, I think. But I mean, like I said, there's so many over there. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I played that Legacy course. I really enjoyed the Legacy course.
Yeah, it's nice. We're members over at, of course, Mid-South and Talamore. I don't know if you've ever heard of those, but they're actually really cool. They're both good courses. And then obviously I have all the Pinehurst courses, which are super nice.
We went over to number 2, checked it out and saw, all the historic stuff over there. And the putting green, if you've ever seen the putting green, that's the hardest putting I've ever seen in my life over at Pinehurst number 2.
Yeah, I haven't actually played number 2, but yeah, I've been over there quite a bit. I played some of the other courses around it, and yeah, it's pretty nice.
Oh, it's awesome. That's a beautiful area. All the golf courses. If you're a golfer, that's like the best place in the world.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, that's literally the whole summer is just full of out of town golfers that have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
No idea that we're there, that the military's there, that Fort Bragg's down the street, and it's pretty funny.
I played with a guy at the Legacy course. He was a chiropractor, and he said that like most of his patients were from Fort Bragg.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked to him about Fort Bragg for a while. And how far is Fort Bragg from Pinehurst area? Is it?
It's about. I mean, it's 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Maybe. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's a couple of little back roads that lead right to it. So it's nice to get away from the base.
Yeah.
Every now and then.
How big exactly is Fort? How many people would you say are in Fort Bragg at a time?
Oh man.
And whatnot.
Honestly, I don't know, but it's a ton. I think it's either the first or second largest personnel wise, and the top 2 or 3 size wise too in the country. Or in the military, basically. So,
wow.
I think Fort Hood out in Texas may be a little larger.
Mm-hmm.
It may or may not have more people. I don't know, but there's a ton. It's crazy. Like I said, I have no idea how many people are actually there because there's so many different units and entities. It's way too hard to keep up with.
That's and I bet that's awesome having Fort. You work or Fort Bragg and then being in such a nice area. In North Carolina, that's a great area. So, but that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, we're pretty lucky as far as that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Having there, then we have the beach an hour and a half away. We have some nice mountains.
Oh yeah.
3-4 hours away. Yeah, I mean it's not too bad.
Are there a lot of families on base like yours? Is there like a big community there?
Yeah, there's a lot of like on base housing and people live on base, and then our whole area, out in the Pinehurst, Southern Pines, Western Pines, most of it's now becoming military, and then Fayetteville is kind of town that actually supports the base, and it's pretty much all military. So it's kind of people live either on Fayetteville on base or out where we live, and it's just kind of spread out all over the place. But I mean, it's nice because the community kind of varies. Like my wife has military friends, and then she has non-military friends that kind of help her out when, get out of the military stuff for a little while, especially when I'm deployed and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a good balance.
Yeah, that's good. I'm sure it's pretty safe for your kids and all that, right?
Yeah, not bad at all.
Let me ask you this, since you live in that area:
Yeah.
Duke, NC State, or UNC?
I guess it depends on what we're talking about. Basketball, I don't know. I'm honestly more of a college football fan, so none of them, because I'm a Texas A&M guy. But and then I mean UNC football wise has Mac Brown, and he's always been a huge rival of Texas A&M because he coached at Texas for so long. So I can't go with them. I don't know. I feel like I have to go with NC State just to kind of be like the underdog. I don't think they get enough support.
I don't think they do either. Some of my family lives down in Raleigh, and they support NC State, but I support Duke. I'm going to WVU next year, so it's gonna be kind of weird supporting Duke and WVU.
Yeah. You have to give one up.
But Duke, before we went to Pinehurst, we stopped at Duke, and my brother went to a cross country camp there, and that was surreal going to Duke. But yeah, I didn't realize how close they were, and they're all right there, and I bet like everyone around there is like one of the three, you know.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's wild that they're, like you said, it's incredible how close they are. I didn't realize that either till I got to Fort Bragg, and then we went up to Raleigh like on a weekend, and then you realize that, you know, they're literally all within 20 miles of each other, and it's the three biggest colleges in the state. It's pretty.
I think they call it like the medical research like triangle or something. Or the
research triangle. Yeah, the research triangle.
Yeah, because they're all right there, and they make that triangle, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool area to go and like hang out and see, and they're all the crazy thing is they're all so close, but they're all so different. They each have their own like little different vibe or whatever. Each school is the same way.
Oh yeah.
Like they're each a little bit different, so not too bad.
Last off, I guess I'll have to ask, what kind of music you into?
A little bit of everything, man. Like I like so I'm from Texas, so being from here, we call it Texas country music. It's kind of spread a little bit now to like the Americana genre with actually a guy from y'all's area, like Tyler Childers has become really, really popular. It's kind of crossed over the bluegrass to the what I would call Texas music genre. It's a bunch of I don't know, you guys probably never heard of, but otherwise I like weirdly enough, Korn's probably like my favorite band.
Okay.
And I grew up, I've loved them ever since I was like, you know, young kid in high school, middle school. So I like that whole genre as well for the most part. Yeah, I mean a little bit of everything, and then you know, normal. I'll kind of change it up and find something else every now and then.
I know Tyler Childers is kind of taken over around where we're from. A lot of people like Tyler Childers. When it comes to country music, I would prefer Tyler Childers over a lot. I'm when it comes to country, I like Zach Brown Band and like Eric Church. Those are probably my favorite out of the country music genre.
Yeah, the guys I like are, I mean, like I said, Ryan Bingham's a big one. He's like he's a Texas guy. He's kind of, he's got a little bit of fame and branched out a little bit. I don't know. Pat Green started in that genre, then he went mainstream. There's a few guys kind of from the Raleigh to North Carolina, West Virginia area. I think, what's his name? American Aquarium. I think they're from Raleigh, actually. I don't know.
Well,
so you said you guys all play music, right? What are you guys into?
Well, you know, we kind of like a little bit of everything as well, but I think our favorite stuff is sort of like Pink Floyd type stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
We're kind of different. Like we like our own things. So Buster is he's very talented when it comes to music. So he likes a little bit of his music tastes are very sporadic, I think. He likes a little, you like, I like a lot of alternative rock, and then I like a lot of 70s rock as well, and then
Yeah.
Pink Floyd stuff. But I spread out all over the place. I like country. I like some country. Like some country I'm not big into. I'm not big into the pop country stuff.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I saw a hat the other day saying pop country's for posers, and I laughed.
That's pretty funny.
But I like old country as well. I grew up listening to Hank Williams Jr. and stuff like that.
See, my favorite type of stuff from country is probably like the original Hank Williams and
oh yeah
I really like that stuff.
Yeah, the older guys are obviously awesome, and it's just changed. I don't know, like you said, the pop country music stuff is not too into that. But,
yeah, I can't. I don't like the country rap thing going on.
No.
I'm not a big fan.
It's a little weird.
It's a little bit weird.
Yeah, those should stay in two different genres as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm fine with. I'm fine with country and I'm fine with rap. They just don't go together.
Yeah, some genres just are not meant to be mixed. I I play a bass guitar and some guitar, and I might try to look into learning some more percussion stuff as well eventually. And I experiment with different stuff, but I'm probably not as experienced musician. I think Buster's probably the most experienced musician that we have. He's done you've done what? You can play piano, you play saxophone, you can play what else?
Bass
guitar,
bassoon, just some
random
stuff.
Pretty much every if his fingers, because he has like very large hands, if his fingers were smaller, he could probably play guitar much better. But I have small fingers, so I'm probably gonna be a guitar player for most of the music. We've made some music, but we do all kinds of stuff when we play.
You ever
cool.
You ever play any music yourself?
No, man. I'm terrible at it. I've always wanted to do it. I always want to learn the guitar and play, and I don't know. I don't have any rhythm, and I just can't. I mean, I'm sure I can. I just need to take some time and actually focus on it, and I'd like to, but it's one of those things that I'm like, I'm gonna start doing this, and then I just don't follow through with it. But it's always something I've wanted to do. I have zero natural ability as far as that goes.
Getting into your first musical type stuff is pretty hard. But once you learn how to play one instrument pretty well, you don't have to master it. But once you learn it pretty well, the other ones kind of are like. Well, I wouldn't say that would go for going from saxophone to bass guitar, but if you're going from guitar to bass guitar, or even guitar to, I had never picked up a piano, but I sat down and kind of looked at it for a while and looked at some stuff, and I could play some different songs. So once you learn one instrument, usually a lot of other instruments become much easier. But yeah, for when you're first starting, it's incredibly hard.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, I think that some people obviously are have that a little bit of an innate talent already. I definitely don't. So
it's kind of like driving.
It's gonna take me some time.
It's like driving a car. At first it's so uncomfortable and it doesn't. It's hard and you feel like you're bad at it, but eventually you get better and better, and then it just becomes automatic, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
But yeah.
Yeah, they're both. It's a pretty nice ability to have to play instruments. You can blow off some steam by just sitting down and playing for a little while. It's a good thing.
Sure.
I would say if you're gonna learn an instrument, honestly, the guitar is a pretty easy instrument to learn, I would say. I never thought it was that difficult when I was like, because you could look up how to play some chords, and you could teach yourself hundreds of songs just with a few chords, and
Right.
it may be hard at first. It may be uncomfortable putting your fingers in a certain position and then trying to move them very quickly to another one. But the more you do it, and the better you get, and then it's amazing what you can do with just a few chords. But I I recommend anyone to learn the guitar. I love the guitar.
Yeah, I think it's probably good. I think it's a good thing to know.
Mm-hmm.
At least some kind of musical ability is probably handy.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming on and talking to us today.
No, I appreciate you guys, having interest in and wanting to have me on and everything. And it's awesome.
Yeah. And thank you for your service and all that again. You're an American hero to us. You're a hero, and it's an honor to have you on the show today.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys saying that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. And that was Master Sergeant Matthew Williams. Thank you guys for watching today, and see you later.